You want to use your keyword in the title, of course, right? You also want to use your keyword in the headers. You want to use it appropriately in your headers. How do you use it in your headers? Those kind of things. Whereas I see a lot of times SEO agencies or SEO experts, they will use the keyword incorrectly. They will do things that will work for people like TripAdvisor because they have a ton of leverage, but they're not the same strategies that are going to work for the little guys because the little guys have a lot more SEO work to do than somebody who has that leverage.
What's up, small business heroes? I am so excited for this week's episode because one of the big three priorities we have in our business this year is SEO. And today I have someone who is not only an SEO expert, but she has basically built her travel blog only from recently, 2020. And now she's amassed, I'm talking probably 80,000 organic views to her website every single month. So what does this mean? It means that she's been able to not only help thousands of other people implement SEO, but she generates alone just based on ads and affiliate marketing up to $13,000 a month just from her website. So welcome to the show, Laura Peters.
Thanks for having me, Gloria. I'm really happy to be here.
So SEO is like all the buzz, right? We know that ads tracking is going away next year. Social media is like, we don't know about what's going to happen. First things first, what is SEO and how is it different from, let's say, social media?
Yeah, so SEO stands for search engine optimization. And typically, when you talk about SEO or search engines, we're referring to Google. And Google, in anybody's view, is one of the dominant platforms for traffic. That is where people go to find information that they're looking for. Now, the great part about SEO is that you can use it to your advantage to grow an audience specific to the niche or the topic that you are looking to write about. Or if you have your own business, then you can gather an audience based on the business you're in.
Wow, that's so awesome. So we're all about building long-term visibility here. Why is SEO better than, let's say, just, what people think is quicker, like paying for ads or an influencer?
Yeah, totally. And that is a really great question. A lot of people say, why wouldn't you just do social media? Why even spend your time with SEO? And the proof is in the pudding. So for us, we really like SEO because it's the long term marketing solution, whereas social media is a bit more short term. So I'm sure you've put up reels or put up stories that even if they do gain traction, that only lasts for 24 to 48 hours. And then you're back doing the next thing that this social media platform wants you to do. So the reach with SEO is that when you write a blog post or an article on your website, you can tailor it to be exactly what Google wants it you to be writing about, or how they want you to structure your post. And these results can last for years and years. We have blog posts that we wrote back in 2016. I've optimized it one time for SEO, and it's still at the top of Google, generating traffic to our website 7, 8 years later.
Oh my God, that's so good, especially now as we are recording this. I think one of the things about building a business, it's not about how many things you do, it's about strategically selecting the right things to do. And I think SEO, PR, which also helps with SEO, which we will get into, are all in that realm. Not to say that there's not a place for social media marketing, but you are playing by someone else's rules, right? So let's get into it. How can a founder, a business owner, a coach, a consultant, someone making candles in their garage, how can they get started with SEO?
Yeah, so there is obviously a lot to SEO. It doesn't mean that it's very complicated, but there are a lot of things that Google deems important when it comes to optimizing your website or optimizing your business for ranking on Google. So, a couple of those things is we want a website, of course. Personally, we recommend having a website that's self hosted, meaning that you own it yourself. Someone like Wix doesn't own it, or Blogspot, Blogger. So, being able to have full control of your website is definitely a great place to start. Second, we would recommend really diving in and learning more about SEO and what Google is looking for when it comes to writing different blog posts or articles. So, we want to do what we call keyword research. So when we go to write a blog post, we're not just writing about, oh, for me specifically, I'm not going to write about my trip to Mexico. Oh, I sat on the beach and had cocktails. It's more so about the information that people are looking for. So we need to determine a keyword. A keyword is just a fancy word for a topic, a blog post topic, an article topic. Now, the great thing about SEO is that whatever your business is, you can actually tailor those keywords to match your business. So, if somebody is in the business of making candles, okay, so the keywords they would be targeting might be how to make a candle, or, strawberry scented candles for sale. Right. So when somebody is able to rank for that and become one of the top search results on Google, you will have consistent traffic coming to your website or your business. So those are the first, two things that we would recommend is first, have a website, and second, do some keyword research and understand which keywords you should be targeting in order to grow your business the way you would like.
I mean, it sounds super simple, right? But then I also hear another thing, which I know you hear a lot, which is, "Oh, SEO takes so long. It's just not worth me doing. I need to hire, an agency." Which brings me to another topic of like which agency. But what would you say in terms of people are like it just takes too long?
Yeah, and I used to think the same thing. I was pretty nervous about SEO because I always thought, well, it's going to take at least a year for me to rank on Google. Luckily, that's not true. When you employ actual SEO strategies, the ones that we use, it can take as little as 3 months to show up on Google. Now, from there, you will have to build your authority and get some leverage to help move those blog posts up in search results. But I kind of always turn people to the idea behind social media. How long does it take for you to grow your social media account? If you're starting from zero, it's going to take a heck of a lot of time to get to 500 followers or enough people to, um, you know, be watching your reels or your stories and paying attention to your business. So either way, you're going to be spending a lot of time trying to grow on either of these two platforms. Why not make it the long-term marketing solution so that you don't have to be doing that hamster wheel of social media?
Agreed. And if the platform decides to ban you, then you're done.
I've actually had that happen. We were on Pinterest for a while too, which is, I started using Pinterest because that was what everyone told me to do. So I did. And for a while there, it was going well. And by well, maybe 3,000 people to our site each month. Comparatively, again, we're at about 80,000 right now. So it's interesting. And we were banned from Pinterest several times. We would be in jail, let out of jail, in jail, let out of jail. And our traffic went like this because of it. So we really like the stable kind of marketing. I'm not so much into predictive, like, I want it to be predictable. I don't want to have to guess when my next lead is coming. And that's, for me, what SEO provides is it's a very specific and direct way of marketing.
Yeah, I love that too. And it's like building a long-term asset. I always say to my PR Starter Pack students, are you doing a $10 an hour busy work task that can be delegated, or are you building long-term assets, right? So let's talk about PR and SEO because as you know, I'm all about getting those organic links, getting featured, not paid placements, but the editorial placements. Can you talk about how powerful those are, whether it's guests, uh, podcasting, getting on someone's, getting featured on Business Insider, all those things. How does that relate and boost your SEO?
Yeah, so it's actually a very important component of SEO. Getting on to podcasts, getting into certain publications, and being seen is huge. And I think that it can be said for both. So SEO can benefit PR, PR can benefit SEO. They kind of work in tandem. So, as bloggers, one of the ranking factors that Google considers when deciding where to place your content in search results is something we like to call backlinks. Backlinks are a link from another website to your own. Ideally, it's a more high authority website so that it tells Google, hey, we like this person and we're linking to them. So you should like them too, and possibly show them to more people in search results. So that's something that's huge for SEO. If
Wow.
you can master PR, your SEO is going to be very, very easy. I think the saying is, "You give me a lever and a place to stand, and I can lift the world," and that's super true with PR. So that's actually why we hired you to help us, because we knew if we can get in front of some of these publications, it's going to be a breeze to increase our authority with Google and make our blog posts go up in search results.
Yeah.
Resulting in more traffic, right? Now, on the other hand, SEO can benefit PR because you can use your website as collateral. You can use it as a reason why someone should feature you. You can show, hey, I'm an expert in this, this, and this, and feel free to check out my website right here. So it legitimizes you as a business owner. It shows them what you're all about, and so being able to connect those two together is it's yeah, it's a great combination.
Yeah, it's really symbiotic, like two peas in a pod, because I always say, like, I'd rather spend the time, whether it's 3 hours, 5 hours, to learn how to pitch. That is a $10,000 an hour skill. If I can get onto one podcast, that is show notes, all the things SEO. I'd rather do that all day than figure out what trending audio to use and then have 5 people watch my reel.
And that's the problem with it. I have had videos where I am certain that Instagram is going to like this, or
Mhm.
I know this is going to be a viral post. I pick out the perfect audio for it. I put the most descriptive content in there, anything. I know that it's going to be good. And almost every time, I am shocked by how few people we can reach, because ultimately, Instagram decides that, and you really aren't sure whether or not they are going to like your stuff. So, why guess? Why not just do SEO the way that we know how to, and learn SEO so that you don't have to worry, is Instagram going to like this reel? Because
Yeah.
if you do SEO the right way, it works every time. Every time.
Yep. Again, another $10,000 an hour skill that will pay dividends. Why do you think that people know logically social media is not dependable? They've seen the horror stories, but yet people are still thinking, oh, I need to like focus on reels and not doing things like SEO. Why do you think that is?
I think that number one, social media apps have become the norm. And a lot of people assume that's where they need to hang out. If they're not on social, they're not doing it right. Unfortunately, it's kind of a big lie. Of course, social media platforms want you to hang out there. Of course, they want you to spend money with them on their ads. But the truth is that social media platforms in 2023, they're pay to play. If you want to gain exposure with them, you must pay them to reach your own audience. And that's what's crazy about it, is you have to pay to reach the people who already follow you. It's crazy. So what's the point of even having followers if you can't reach everybody? I mean, anytime we post a reel, which is very few and far between, we have I watch the statistics and that kind of thing, but we have probably 9600 people following us on Instagram, and my videos maybe get 2000 views. It's
It's wild.
unbelievable. So to kind of continue on with that, I think people assume that's where they want to be. I think a lot of it has to do with ignorance of understanding what SEO is and how you can use it to your advantage. Because we also teach travel bloggers how to partner with companies and be sponsored by companies. And almost every time we've reached out to people saying, "Hey, I would love to create a partnership with you or some type of sponsorship," they say, "Well, what's your social media handles?" As if it's more important than the number of people who come to your actual website each month. But people are brainwashed to believe that. It really is true.
And it really is true, and I think that's why we need to change the conversation with doing things that not everyone can do. Any trust fund kid can go and buy like a 300,000 followers. That's not impressive to me. SEO takes time, right? So that's like doing the work, like understanding your audience, like giving value. That really, to me, is more of a hallmark of whether or not that person is legitimate, and that's why I think PR and SEO are kind of in the same realm. Is it's not this get rich quick scheme where anyone can just pay for it. Like you actually have to do the work, but in doing so, you are cultivating a skill for life.
Yeah, absolutely. And connecting those two the way you just did, like I've never even thought of it that way. And you're so right. Like PR is the exact same way. It's long term marketing because you will always be on that website that continuously gets traffic, it gets readers. It's not something that's a get rich quick scheme. If
Yeah.
that's what you're going for, social media it is, but it's very rarely true that you will see a lot of success from social.
Yeah. So we all know definitely it's time to build long-term assets. So, pitching to get on a podcast, great for SEO. It's almost like collapsing time, right? It's like would you say it's like better than writing like 5, 6 blogs if you can get featured somewhere?
You mean to do PR instead of writing like the 5, 6 blogs? Is that what
Well,
you
you
mean?
like in terms of like how much does it boost your SEO?
Oh, a lot. Yes, in fact, when people are beginning to blog or at least trying to grow their business with SEO, you don't have to have a blog. Um, we always tell them spend 50% of your time writing and 50% of your time getting backlinks. Also known as PR. So
Mhm.
that's what we recommend because we know that leverage is everything. If you can get the backlinks you need, then your we call it domain rating, some people call it domain authority. It's how much Google probably trusts you. And if you can get in front of this other audience first, we like to refer to them as like votes for your website. If you
Mhm.
get more positive votes for your website, you get to do a lot less work. It's actually the reason why there are websites out there like TripAdvisor or, some of these big travel blogs that have a lot of authority with Google. They have to do less. They don't have to write nearly as much because, or as SEO optimized as somebody who's kind of just starting, because they have the leverage. So if you can get leverage with backlinks, PR, then you certainly don't have to write nearly as much or be
Yeah.
as, savvy with your SEO techniques.
Yeah, and I honestly don't love to write. I do pitch writing, but blog writing just pains me, so I'd rather write a pitch all day. But I'm glad you said that. It definitely works well and it works together. So let's talk about actually getting started with SEO. We have
Yeah,
been told for decades just hire an SEO agency, but there's so many. It's almost like like a little bit like scammy, where like every day I get those like LinkedIn like scammy emails, like we can make you on the first page. Like, what is up with that? And if I do want to hire an SEO agency, who do I hire?
that's a really great question. And the truth is, I just had a conversation with a student today. The truth is, a lot of SEO agencies, unfortunately, aren't actually using proper SEO strategies. It's really sad to see. We get those emails all the time. It is scammy, just like you said. We'll have people say, "Hey, if you're the owner of MikeandLauraTravel.com, please respond because your website is not showing up in any Google search results," and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, I know that's actually incorrect. I think that is, I know that it is because I am an SEO consultant. I know what I'm talking about. So, what we recommend, because a lot of agencies, a lot, even the ones that are highly recommended by other people, unfortunately aren't using proper SEO strategies. And what we recommend is that you learn SEO yourself first and then you hire it out. That should be the way it is for most things in anybody's business. Learn it yourself first and then hire it out. That way you always know, are they doing it correctly? Am I getting scammed here? Are they even implementing things that are going to see, it's all about ROI. So if the money you're putting into it, are you going to recoup the costs? If
Yeah.
so, that's a great return on your time invested. If not, then you're wasting your money on marketing that you don't even know actually is going to work. As I said, SEO works every time you do it the right way, but you can't be certain that someone else is going to do it the right way for you unless you know yourself. It's very similar to like Facebook or Instagram ads. If you ever are going to run those, you should know how to do it yourself first and then hire it out. And that's something that, as a businesswoman, I've learned that through and through because I have been put in those situations where I've hired an agency to do, say, Facebook ads and they run up the bill, but we don't see the right ROI. So we recommend learning it yourself. Obviously, we do have a course on it. It's mainly for travel bloggers, but it's the same techniques that you would use for anything else. But just be very weary about a lot of SEO agencies out there because it's not what you think it is. It's a lot of I'm gonna implement what I think is right, and hopefully this works is kind of the thing. I had mentioned a student that I just met with earlier today, and she was an affiliate, so meaning she was recommending other people's products. And she reached out to that company and said, "Hey, can I write a guest post for you? I just want to, she was looking for a backlink, but she said, "Can I write a guest post for you?" She wrote the post, and the owner of the company said, "I am blown away. Can you meet with our SEO girl and teach her this?" And she said, "I can't believe that they wanted me to meet with their SEO specialist so I could teach them." And so that's really where, just be very weary of that. Always know how to do something first before you hire it out.
Yeah, or at least understand like what the essence of it is, right?
Yep,
Yeah. So
100%.
do you have so in your course, do you have like your own strategy and framework? Like how different is SEO from like your course to like is there like different frameworks or is it pretty much the same way to do it?
It's so what we see a lot of people doing incorrectly. Basically, SEO is a checklist. If you check off all of the things and set it up the right way, it's a lot about structure. It's a lot about are you using your keyword appropriately, not only throughout your headers and your text and your slug and all of these places in the meta description, but it's also about the overall or all encompassing aspect of your website. Is it loading quickly? Does it have positive user experience? That kind of stuff. So what you would want to look for, or at least from my perspective, is knowing the checklist, knowing exactly what Google is looking for. So, as an example, you want to use your keyword in the title. Of course, right? You also want to use your keyword in the headers. You want to use it appropriately in your headers. How do you use it in your headers? Those kind of things. Whereas I see a lot of times SEO agencies or SEO experts, they will use the keyword incorrectly. They will do things that will work for people like TripAdvisor because they have a ton of leverage, but they're not the same strategies that are going to work for the little guys because the little guys have a lot more SEO work to do than somebody who has that leverage. So that's really the difference. It's not so much of a difference in strategy, it's really about missing things. I see a lot of people miss certain things, or they'll say, "I learned SEO over here, and so I know SEO through and through," but they're not implementing all of the things that Google is looking for when it comes to using your keyword correctly. Having your site load quickly, getting backlinks, and things like that. So
Yeah. I love the checklist idea. And then what about delegation? How easy is it to delegate that? I teach that in my course, but like a lot of people are like, well, I don't really have time to do this. So How easy is that process?
So yeah, that's a great question. Very accurate. Like what you're saying is, I don't have a lot of time to implement this. Luckily, learning SEO is going to be one of those $10,000 an hour jobs. So if you can learn SEO and utilize it, it is going to be what pushes your business forward to making sales. So prioritizing it is advised. Now, of course, we want to hire out the $10 an hour work, right? Just as Rick always tells us. So what we want to do is hire out maybe the writing portion of it. However, the SEO editing should be in your hands or somebody that you've trained to do SEO properly. And so what that means is you would create maybe an outline for this article or this blog post that you're writing, and then you would hire somebody to write that post for you. I would look for specifically people who are experts in that, whatever it is you're talking about, not necessarily SEO experts, but somebody who has a lot of information and a lot of knowledge when it comes to whatever you are writing about. Then you will come in or have somebody come in to do all of the SEO editing. And what I do, because now we hire out a lot of our stuff, is I train an SEO editor and I give them a checklist of exactly what I want them to change and what I want them to make note of. So if it is, double check that the title is correct, double check that I have an affiliate disclosure. So I give them a checklist, and doing it that way, delegation is pretty simple. Pretty simple.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to delegate to elevate. Now, you know this question is coming because when we're talking about cutting time and delegating is ChatGPT, AI tools, Copy.ai, Jasper. Can we just use that to just churn out a ton of blogs or yay or nay, or is there some risk in that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, especially now that ChatGPT has come full force and they're here to stay. So, um, AI will change the game, obviously. However, we look at it as a positive. So, we don't know what's really going to happen in the future with AI. However, we can say that right now, using AI to write posts or articles is very, very easy and helpful. Now, so what we do, we use Jasper.ai, and we've been using that for a while now. And what we like about it is it helps with any time where I'm writing a blog post and I get stuck and I think, man, I can't think of the word or I don't know how to phrase this. And it's just like a blob mess in my mind, right? So, what we like to do instead is use Jasper. We'll type in a very generic or vague sentence, and then it will regurgitate something that it created. It's not copyright infringement, it is completely just made up by AI, right? And we will take what they have and we'll take bits and pieces of it and put it into our blog post to
Hmm.
help us continue to write. Now, we also, it's very, very important to know that a lot of these platforms, Jasper, Chat GPT, all of these are not factual based. These are creative writing tools. And so, what that means is that a lot of times you will go in to find some information or to grab some content that you can then add to a blog post, and it might not be factual. So, I was writing a blog post about best hikes in Colorado, and it was telling me about hiking this one mountain in Colorado Springs, yet that mountain is nowhere near Colorado Springs. So there are some limitations to AI. There's a lot of things to iron out. So although AI is here to stay and we can use it to our advantage, it's not something that we should be terrified of right now, because we can just use it positively right now.
That's cool. I mean, that's good to know. I mean, we're on the precipice of so much change. My next question is algorithms change, everything changes. What about SEO?
Mhm.
I'm worried of someone saying, well, this sounds great, Laura, but then the SEO algorithm is going to change next year. Is that true or not?
Yes, 100%. So algorithms with Google change just the same as they do with, say, Instagram or Facebook, Pinterest, all of those things. However, it's a different kind of change. dating back to when Google first began as a platform, they have had one thing in common forever, and it has never changed. They want to give their users the best experience possible. So any changes that they make to the algorithm is only to improve the user's experience. So if you can go into SEO, into your SEO journey, or your usage of SEO, understanding that you are going to bring the best information to your readers and give them a really positive experience, you should never have to worry about algorithm changes. So, here are a couple algorithm changes that are more typical in Google's world. And I personally think that they're very much different than the algorithm changes you see with social media. Back in 2017, I think it was, Google realized that there were a lot of people talking about things that they didn't have expertise in. For example, medical, anything medical related, anything related to taxes, and then finances as well. If you were talking about those things and you weren't a doctor, and you weren't a CPA or a tax specialist, and you weren't, a financial planner, then you saw a major decline in the website traffic that you were getting, because Google no longer thought that that was okay. You can't be giving people advice, medical advice, if you're not a doctor. So, those are the kind of changes we see. Another one just happened recently. They just want your page to be fast, they want it to load quickly. Well, that's already an SEO best practice anyway. So, anybody who didn't see the writing on the wall with that one, again, been a ranking factor for a long time. Ignoring it is where it got people in trouble. So, as long as you are doing SEO strategies with user experience in mind and you're giving them the best information, again, you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, I love that. My next question is, at the time of recording, it seems like I'm too late to the game to do SEO. There's YouTube, there's TikTok, everyone's already been on it, everyone's optimizing for SEO. How would you answer that question of it's too late for me to start SEO?
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of an interesting. I hear it all the time, so it's a legitimate question. But I think it's interesting because any form of marketing is going to take some time. Luckily, the way we do SEO, it can happen as little as 2-3 months where you start to see the traction. Usually, our blogs will start to make money, not just appear on Google, but make money within the first 4 or 5 months. So it's not something that you have to wait too long for. It is something that will take your time and effort, but again, it's the long-term marketing solution. There are other platforms where, you see a lot more businesses hanging out, say YouTube and TikTok. But even with YouTube, you have to be pretty consistent for 2 years in order to see significant gains with it. We would know, we run both. And a lot of times we'll do case studies to see how long does it take to kind of grow a following on YouTube, or how long does it take to grow a following on TikTok. And the amount of work you're putting into these other platforms is eh, catastrophically different and much larger than you would be putting into SEO, because again, SEO can grow on its own after you publish, whereas social media, YouTube, you have to continuously be putting out content. That's one of my favorite parts about SEO is I'll leave a blog for a year and we're still growing our traffic and still making money from it. So it's not about consistency, it's about the quality of content.
I love that. And if you do get on a podcast, you can also put that on your own blog as content too, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of people do. And it's not only helpful for keeping people on the page longer, resulting in Google saying, oh, hey, people like this page, they're staying there a long time, but it's also better for you as user experience. You are providing something that is, um, it's the information people want. So, yeah, it's definitely beneficial, and I see a lot of overlap there.
Now I know obviously your course is incredible. You've had hundreds of students go through it. If someone is just starting off, right, what are some of the free tools, action steps that they can take just in a very kind of small little taste that they can dabble in? Like let's say if I started today.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what I would do is I would play around with like a keyword research tool and just see if it's something that sparks your interest. I always think it's really fun to just do keyword research. So let me start from the beginning. You will download an it's a Chrome extension. It's called Uber Suggest. It is a free tool. This is, I think, the best free tool. Not the best free paid tool, but it's the best free tool. Download the Uber Suggest Chrome extension. You can find that by just Googling that and put it onto your browser. And when you type in a term into the search bar of Google, it's going to show you the number of people who are searching for that each month on average. And then it's also going to give you some other numbers. So as you scroll down the page, you have these search results just as you would with anything you look up on Google. As you're going through these search results, let's say the first one is Forbes. Check out their domain rating or their domain authority. It will show you a number. It's going to be between 0 and 100. The higher the number, the more difficult it will be for you to compete against that person. So, if I wanted to write about best credit cards, I would search that on Google using the Uber Suggest extension. It will tell me that tons and tons of people are searching for it, but I want to verify that it's something that I could rank for. So I'm going to go to the search results. I'll notice what their domain authority is. And if you see a bunch of high numbers in the top 10, maybe you see Forbes, domain authority 95. It's quite high. Maybe you see Business Insider, domain authority 93, right? So all of these are giving us clues that, best credit cards might be a topic that's a little too difficult for me to rank for. So I might want to change and try something else. That is one of the best ways to start to dive into keyword research and to see, are there topics I could write about, I could rank for, that would then bring traffic to my business or, traffic to any offer I have.
Okay, so Uber suggests what's the next thing they should do?
So the next thing they should do is obviously writing articles or blog posts, but outlining the post. So the way you would do that is you would create a title, take notes from the other people in the top 10. What words are they using within their titles? What phrases do you see pop up multiple times? So as an example, let's say you were doing strawberry scented candles or like best strawberry scented candles, something like that. You would go to the search results and pay attention to which words they're using more of in their title. So maybe the first result says 27 best strawberry scented candles 2023, and maybe it has a couple other words in there. We want to determine, what patterns are we seeing? Are they using a specific word? Do I see that word pop up a couple of times in other search results? Are they using the year in their title? If they're using the year or you see it a couple of times in search results, use the year. So it's really about assessing the top 10 of Google. What do the search results show? It's really cool because SEO is about deciphering other people's content that are already ranking on Google. It's like they're giving us a cheat sheet. So Google is saying, "Oh, you want to write about that? Awesome. Here are all of the posts that we deem the best. Model these." Now, of course, we don't want to copy it. That's unethical, but we do want to model what they're doing. So take some notes, see what words they're using, how does the outline look, and use that to your advantage to create an article that's similar but much better.
And can we use AI tools to do that? To be like, give me an outline of this or
Yeah.
spot the patterns?
Yep, Jasper does do that. However, again, it is important to understand, SEO for yourself first, so you can determine, is this an SEO optimized outline?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are
Mhm.
there any other strategies they should take other than download the Uber suggest? Make an outline.
There's over 200 ranking factors, so there are
Hmm.
quite a few things to consider when you're writing your blog posts or your articles, whatever you want to call them. They're the same thing. But ultimately, it really is about getting backlinks. It is also about getting the PR. So, if on the other end of things, they're thinking, what else can I do? Get backlinks, use PR, listen to more of your podcast because it really will help move the needle a lot faster.
Yeah, I actually did a free tool for like looking at my backlinks, right? And
Hmm.
my domain authority. And I've been able to see, because I haven't really done any SEO work that's obviously a priority of mine, but just from the features that I've gotten, I've been able to get like thousands of backlinks,
Hmm.
like just from being on podcasts with no SEO. And now it's like, wow, I already have kind of a launch pad in a way, right? Because
Hmm.
I've been able to get somewhere and not just write blogs all day. So I love how you said that it's not just about writing blogs all day. It's 50% getting
Yep,
backlinks, which you can with PR. Um, for some
definitely.
for some people who've been listening to us, right, for let's say 30 minutes, and they're still not convinced, or they still have some kind of objection in their head about it, what is the
Mhm.
last thing that you will tell them? Like, why is it so urgent that they start SEO now? I know it's convinced me, because I'm literally dedicating time, money, and team members to focus on SEO this year.
Definitely. It's important to remember that I have two things. So, number one, you do not own any of your content. You do not own your account on these social media platforms ever. And one algorithm change could be the complete, it can demolish your business within an hour. I've actually seen so many bloggers who used to put all of their eggs into Pinterest basket, and they were getting killer traffic, 250, 300,000 people to their site each month just from Pinterest. And then the algorithm switched and they went down to 2,000. I continuously see people post about it in these Facebook groups I'm in, and I can only feel for them because it really does deflate everything you've put hard work into. So making sure that you are being proactive is always the most important way to market. Always being proactive. Second is, of course, algorithms can change with Google as well. They're far less drastic than they are with, say, uh, Instagram, who one day loved pictures, and then the next day, if you posted a picture, two people saw it, right? With SEO and Google, your goal should also be to grow your email list. That's going to be your bread and butter of your entire business. If you don't have an email list, you need an email list. Otherwise, again, one day you could have a thriving business and the next day you have nothing. The great thing about SEO is that you can target specific topics that people are looking up that will then lead them to possibly giving you their email address. So I want to give you guys an example so that you can utilize this when you go to implement some SEO strategies or, write some new articles. Think about, what could I deliver to people, or what could they search for that I could then deliver something to them in exchange for their email address. For us, we have a blog post about what kind of travel blog should I start, or maybe it's what kind of blog should I start. It's a quiz. If people click on our result on Google, come to our blog for that, and take our quiz, they have to give us their email address. A great way to grow your email list. Additionally, you could, for us, say we want to gather a bunch of travelers on our email list. Perfect. Maybe there's some travel businesses out there. What you can do is say Iceland packing list or Iceland packing list downloadable, right? People search for this stuff. And when they search for something like that, you can then deliver a freebie in exchange for their email address. Hey, you want that packing list? Perfect. Here it is. And if you want a printable one, just give us your email address and then we'll give you the printable one. So that's a really, really great way to grow your email list. It's a heck of a lot easier than constantly trying to come up with freebies and posting them to your story and doing all of the things that social media requires of you in order to grow your email list. Additionally, growing your email list on a social media platform is incredibly difficult because you need to get people to leave the platform. these social media platforms don't want you to have people leave the platform. So they will suppress those posts so that fewer people will join your email list. It's quite it's quite a conundrum, and that's why we recommend, if you want to grow your email list, you want to grow your business, you can use SEO and be very specific about what you're targeting.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that you have like six-figure months, and you don't even really devote any attention to social media anymore. You're just not playing that game anymore.
I know, it's so interesting. Yeah, last month we did over 100,000, and it was like, people think, "Oh, you're a travel blogger, you must be all over Instagram." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I've posted one in the past like 4 months. I don't know." But we just don't need it. We don't
Yeah,
need it because it's I work based off of ROI. I
yep,
work based on where I'm going to see the biggest return on my time invested. And I think all businesses should do that. So, for any businesses out there or any business owners who are listening to this, one of the most important things to do is track your spending and track the money coming in. Every single day, you should be writing down everything you spend and everything you're making and determine, are my efforts actually making me money? If they're not, you need to be putting your time and effort and money into something that's actually going to bring you profit.
yep, 100%. I love how it's so much about mindset, and that's what we try to do here, with PR is because at any point you can choose a different choice, right? Which we talk about in our coaching. We can choose that social media is not going to be what we do, and we're not going to be judged if we're not on it.
Exactly, 100%. And that's what I've really learned. And it took me a while to realize that SEO is just a form of marketing. I just thought it was this fun game that I was playing. And the more people I got to my website, the more money I made. And then I realized that I'm marketing. That's marketing. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's playing the long game and planting the seeds. Just like you said, like getting onto one podcast, getting onto one feature is going to help you rise on the rankings so much. So I love that. How can people find you? What's the next step they can take to join your world?
Yeah, yeah. So they can check us out on our website. So it's mikeandlauratravel.com. If they're interested in our course, Scale Your Travel Blog, they can go to mikeandlauratravel.com/blogger. And additionally, we are on social. We're on YouTube. It would just be Mike and Laura Travel. On Instagram, we're Mike and Laura Travel Blog. But again, not a huge Instagram fan, so I don't spend a ton of time there. But you can certainly follow us there.
Thank you so much, Laura. This was so awesome, and honestly, I cannot wait to work with you and get your eyes on all the content that I have, but really making it in a way that's actually searchable. Because why make all this content if I'm not leveraging it, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest problems that I see is people say, "Oh, I have all these great ideas and I want to tell my story." But if no one's eyes are on your story, then are you just talking into nothing, or are you actually going to get people to read it? So we have a good balance of getting eyes on your website, but also being able to share your voice and your personal experience.
Ooh, that was so good. I'm actually gonna take that clip and we're gonna make like just a piece of content just with that. If everyone wants to share their story, but if no one's hearing it, then are you really sharing it, right? That's so
Mhm.
good. That's so good. It's
Yep.
exactly how I feel about the work that I'm doing too. It's all about leveraging the content you already have and working smarter and not harder. So
Yep. It's like a tree in the woods. If it falls but there's no one around to hear it, does it make a noise?
yeah.
Not sure.
Thank you so much, Laura. I love seeing the growth that you've had. Even just recently, it goes to show that like it's never too late to implement SEO and you can start at any time and still like just grow exponentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never ever too late. So it was so much fun sharing this with your audience, and I hope they got some good nuggets out of this, and yeah, it's been wonderful.